right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 81, and we're doing City Orchard's Lavender Royale.
Dude, you know how tempting it is every single time that when we do the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I let you go first. As soon as we get to one, immediately I always want to go, and we're back. Like, and I at first, like I thought this, you're thinking this has been like the last 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 times I've thought that. No, dude, this has been like the past 50 freaking times we've done this.
Every single
Like,
time we've done it.
yes, to hold my tongue and not say, and we're back, because the countdown to me is always like a mid-show thing. You know what I mean? Like,
And we're back. It's just like the Wayne's World one.
yes.
That's,
And that's
that's exactly
probably
what we do pre-show. That's the exact thing we do pre-show when the countdown. It's the
that's probably why it's pre-programmed in my head to be that way.
Yeah, probably.
So wing. Anyway, City
Uh
Orchard Lavender Royale. Are you
yeah,
saying it Royal or Royale? There is an E on the end of it.
it's Royale, I think. Based on spelling, at least that's how I would say it. This is a cider coming in at
Thank
6.2%.
All right, so just right out of the gate. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna taste it first. No, no, no. Let me disclose first. First off, I thought it was a seltzer, which I'm not a huge fan of seltzers. And nothing against City Orchard, which I think we should talk about a little more in depth in a second.
Hmm.
But there's not a single thing, there's not a single box that this beverage from a distance is checking for me. In fact, if there was a con column, it's knocking it out of the fucking park, okay? Just my personal preference, though. Honestly,
But
the
you don't
only
like
thing that would
ciders in general, right?
ciders are okay. Okay, so here's what I was gonna say. The only thing that would make this check one more con box is if it was indeed a seltzer, which I thought it was prior to me pulling out the can this afternoon. If that would be the only thing, but it's checking off one. Um, First off, lavender, not a fan at all, and I don't
Mm.
care. And they're sneaking it in everywhere. It's like the fucking cranberry juice of alcoholic beverages these days.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had a lavender anything, to be
Are you
honest with you.
shitting me?
I don't think so.
Oh man! So first off, brewery, and I'm not saying these guys are jumping on board. Like this could be phenomenal. Highly unlikely for me, but it could be okay. But like a lot of people are infusing. I think we've been to a couple like B52 has a lavender that
Yeah,
Katie absolutely loves.
they have a lavender,
Um,
but I've never had it. I've never actually
there
even seen it there when I've gone.
really.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of coffee shop. In fact, we went to another local shout out. Big fan of big a lot of local shout outs today. But so B52 has one that she and Katie's not a beer drinker and she goes towards it. And then third gin coffee or not third gin. Um Trilogy Blue Brew. There's two good call outs. Third Gin is another coffee shop we go to all the time, but Trilogy Brew, based out of Old Town Spring. There's one inside of our HEB over here locally, and they have a lavender infused coffee that she got this
Mm.
morning that was killer.
I have seen lavender infused coffees around. I haven't tried one, but I've
So
seen
here
them.
we go. Number one thing, not a lavender fan. Um, Number two, ciders are the only thing worse than a cider is a seltzer. Do the math on that. You can figure that out yourselves. And then anything that's honey infused has a tendency to taste artificial to me. So I'm not saying that like I do, but I stray away from it. It comes from two things. One, fake honey lemon teas. You know what I'm saying? Like when you buy them in a can.
Yeah, like the
Ooh,
Arizona teas.
yeah. And then also like the Theraflu. Like you ever had the honey in a
Mm,
Theraflu?
yeah.
Yeah, so every time I see it written on a can or it's honey infused or honey whatever, I immediately associate that. Again, this is my
What about
fault.
honey cough drops though?
Fucking terrible. Yeah, same thing.
Oh, dude, what?
Listen, it's a cough drop. Like you're in for. You're really there for the. It could taste like dog shit, and you're like, it's still worth
No,
it.
listen, I might be on the low end of this one. People might think I'm a weirdo or whatnot, but I can sometimes just snack down on some cough drops.
Dude, lemon.
Yeah,
Why
lemon
would you
too,
not
but
go
like
OG lemon?
the honey ones with like the honey in the center where you can like break
Nah,
it open
man.
and there's a little bit of honey in there. Oh, dude, incredible.
I'm not gonna say it's the worst because like they're cough drops. I consider them pretty much all the same, but it's
Also,
not like
also,
on the top of my list.
well, I mean, not at the top, but like also Ricola has the freaking wild berry.
We're gonna back up for a second.
Ricola.
Yeah, it's Ricola,
Yeah,
not
whatever. Well,
Okay.
You knew what I meant though. They have a wild berry flavor.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
Incredible.
listen. The only reason that I knew what you were talking about is because it was within the context of cop drops. If you would have fucking pulled that off the shelf just straight up, I would have been like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
The hell is
And
a
then you'd have been like, "Oh, the cough drop manufacturer. Oh, you mean Ricola? Yes. Okay, gotcha."
Okay, yeah, whatever, dude. Get on with your point then. How about that?
Okay, so and then from a branding perspective, I haven't looked. I'm actually gonna pull up City Orchard because it is in H Town and it is the OG. I like it. When
So,
we talk close to
uh,
home, it's close to home. Give us the
yeah.
stats. Shoot it.
Well, I do have, at least for me, I couldn't get their website to pull up. Um,
Well,
it
I just
isn't.
used Bing, so we'll see what happens.
It is in Houston though. I've never heard of it before. Um,
Oh, yeah, it pulled up.
it did. Okay, maybe it's a Chrome thing. Maybe I don't know.
Are we
Uh
staying?
oh.
Have we
Uh
stumbled
oh.
upon? Listen, this just checked one more fucked up box for me.
Oh
It's
no.
only searchable via Bing.
Oh
Good
no.
Lord.
Things just
No,
got bad.
I'm sorry, City Orchard. I take that back. Okay, so there was one like negative box that I was gonna check with the whole branding because it's just generic can. I know they're trying to be clean. Not a huge fan of it. But now that I see it in the context of its other beverages, I actually kind of like it. They've got a melon, primarily all ciders. So here's the thing. Um, yeah, they're all Orchard Fresh ciders. Um, they've got a Mr. Green, which is a green apple. They got a Cherry Red, which is a, oh man, they're gonna kill me for this if they listen. The Montmorency Cherry. The Lavender Royale, which is lavender and honey, of which we are indulging this evening, and then the Hazy Gold, which is a new tropical imperial and unfiltered.
Hmm. I know really we've done one cider on the show. I like ciders myself personally, but uh I don't know much about them. So, I'm kind of on like the new train of this. Uh,
Basically, it's
I,
basically every pre-teenage boy ever when he's asked about girls. Listen,
yeah.
I like them. Don't know much about them.
Well,
Don't know much about them.
listen. We don't really ever know much about them, you know?
Nope. So yeah, you. So I liked the other one too, and I like a lot of them. I surprisingly, I just think that this one, with it being lavender and honey, that I'm not gonna. But I'm a lot more excited now that it's not a seltzer. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. It isn't a seltzer can though.
It is. Maybe
Like the
that's what
the
it
tall
is.
skinny can.
I
So
bet you
that's
that's what it
that's
is.
why I also thought it was a seltzer because of that. And then I looked at it earlier today and I was like, "Oh, it's a cider. Nice."
So I'm
But
gonna
I,
look
I
up
don't
in.
I don't get I don't get the same feeling from the honey that you do, I guess. I don't know why that well you said why that happens, but like I don't get that. I get a
I'm
good honey flavor.
obviously at this point it goes without saying that I'm kind of weird when it comes to textures and when it comes to flavorings because I either want artificial to always be artificial, hence why I love grape. It's my favorite flavor of all time because I don't even associate grape with fucking grapes. I
Yeah,
associate it with artificial grape seasoning. I
that's
mean,
valid.
okay. But then if there's things that we have pulled off of like good, like lemon infused, sometimes you get really good lemon. Listen,
Mm.
I've never had something really good grape infused. Every time I drink it or eat it, I'm just like, oh yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's just
definitely Diamond Tap.
wine. Isn't that just
Exactly.
wine?
No, no, no. I'm saying like if you get like a grape slushy or if you get like a grape sorbet or something like that, like it's always going to taste like Diamond Tap because all artificial grape tastes the same.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
something to be, fond of, but also something to be like, eh. However, like honey, sometimes you get a good one. You're like, oh, this is great. And it's artificial grape, or it's not like straight up honey. But then I've been bitten way too many times with honey.
Yeah, I never have. I've always been a big enjoyer of honey. I agree 100% with you with the grape thing though. There's uh no better popsicle flavor than a grape popsicle to me. No better
Yeah.
Gatorade flavor. It's the most thirst quenching Gatorade. I don't care what anybody says. Um yeah, grape soda? Are you kidding me? Throw a
Oh,
grape
dude.
soda in there every now
Shit.
and then?
When you said,
Incredible.
like, I love grape so much and grape soda so much. When you said it, I fucking tasted it in my mouth.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, so fairly close. Actually, before we get into it, should we give it a little taste? Did you
I've
hit it
I've been
already?
going. I've been going.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, I went in while you were
Smell
going on your honey rant. I
smells like
mean,
a bunch of old.
I have a valid reason this week though, because you if you're a avid viewer of the podcast by chance, I usually have metal straws for my drinks, but this week I have apparently lost a couple of metal straws, so I've been resorted to using long plastic bendy straws, and the carbonation from this cider, it just keeps pushing the straws out of my drink, and it's making it more and more difficult to manage. So I had to
All
get
right,
into it early enough.
listen. You know what? I'm gonna say this. It's got a couple things going for it. One, I don't know. It kind of has the mouth feel of like old lipstick. But anyway, that's not what it has going for it. I'll circle back around to that. Here's the thing. I
Okay.
don't get a lot of. I don't mean old lipstick, but you ever had lipstick on your tongue or your teeth?
No, I have
That
not.
oily. It's like that oily. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. It has a taste to it. Like I don't get a lot of lavender. Like there's enough there, but maybe I'm just not as good at like differentiating the nuance of lavender. I don't get a ton of lavender. I get enough cider to where it's drinkable because I'm not overwhelmed with lavender. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say something similar.
Okay.
I still get lavender. I can taste it, and I think the reason I can taste it is because I've never had anything lavender flavored, so I'm just getting a lot of it. You know what I mean? But it's not
Yeah.
overwhelming. I agree.
Also, in a good way, I don't get a lot of honey infusion.
Mm,
It finishes a little sweet. Maybe it does have a clovery tartness to it, but listen,
mm.
I'm having a better experience than I thought it would.
It's a
And
better experience.
not because it's way off. Um, but if this like I don't get overwhelming lavender, that oily lipstickiness is gone now, I think. And then I don't it's not a fake artificial honey like the cough drops that you so desperately
Love and
enjoy.
enjoy.
Yeah.
It's it's really weird to me that we've infused lavender into drinks in general.
Yeah, well, because I think of it as a fragrance. Like this is kind of like,
Yeah,
pouring a
it's
Scentsy candle into your mouth. It could have been.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like drinking a candle to me.
Yeah.
Like this would be like what's the it'd be like getting a sandalwood infused beer. You know what I mean? Like it like in my brain it just doesn't make sense.
There is an herbal. I don't. Again, we're gonna debrief on this later. There's like an herbalness to it that that lingers, like a herbalness, floral maybe. Fucking idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a
floralness.
floral that hangs around, like kind of like when you sit in a funeral home. That like smell that's in the air. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of fresh flowers that fill the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, there's a lot of flowers going in and out of those places.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could walking through that part. I guess you could say a florist. It smells like a florist. I
Yeah.
thought funeral home because that's normally where there's the most mix, and there's also like a bunch of random perfumes, usually from older people. Let's be honest. But anyways, all that mixed together
But
is what
also
I'm.
floral perfumes.
That's what I'm saying. So you got fresh flowers, but you got aged floral perfumes with aged floral women.
Yeah.
So all that together is what I'm catching. Not in a bad way. It's comforting a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
also,
It's kind of giving me like a
yeah,
really nice hug,
it is
you
kind of
know?
more than I would have thought. I'm not. Yeah, again, we're not going to get into the WWYBD. We're not going to get into the which I mean, it's too late to write down funerals since I've already spilled the beans
Hey,
on
maybe
that.
that's it.
But there's
That's
no
all right.
WW. I'm not jumping into WWYBD or how the way I feel about the rest of it. But let's talk a little more about City Orchard. So,
Oh yeah. You're going to have to lead this one cuz I can't pull up the website.
wowza. It also is kind of like breathing fire a little bit. You said it's only a 6.2, right?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. The can online says 6.5. And then Total Wine's website says 7.0. So who
And
knows?
the can says 6.2. So Lavender Royale, it's a battle royale. It's from freaking what is that movie? Where they have shit at South Harmon Institute of Technology. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
Where who's the guy from Jeepers Creepers? He was also in
Um,
that weird ass
it's
movie,
called it's called
Justin Long.
yeah, Justin Long. It's called
Accepted.
Accepted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the weird guy, I mean, I don't want to say weird guy, but the very unique guy that does the culinary stuff. He in one line, it just cut. They're just having a conversation about it, and it cuts to him, and he goes, "It's a battle royale." Anyway, Lavender Royale, lavender and honey infused cider. We already talked about that. Honey infused cider steeped in Texas Hill Country lavender.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're importing the
Um,
stuff from the hill country.
well, the lavender, I get. Oh yeah, H Town's not growing lavender. I don't know
Yeah.
what gutter and or storm drains capable of growing
Hey,
lavender.
we got blue bonnets around here.
It says grown in New York, rooted in Texas.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to do
I
a little
wonder if they
research on that,
relocated or something at some point.
possibly.
Maybe.
Oh wait, so cider www.cider.rocks. I don't know. It's got a weird website on it, but anyways, inner city. I mean, we're talking. She's probably about a good 5 minute walk, 6 minute walk from Minute Maid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, to the northwest over
I
there.
have it just blows like obviously I'm not a cider guy like I said like I don't
Mhm.
chase down ciders like I do beers and stuff but I have never heard of this place. That's what
Neither
blows
have
my
I.
mind like so much. We found it at the store and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool. Maybe it's from like Austin or something, right?" Cuz it kind of
I
gave
got
me like
Austin vibes
Austin
from it too.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I literally did not think about it again until we decided we were gonna do this one for this week. And
So
I was like, "Yeah, all right. Well, I'll go look it up." And it said Houston, Texas, and I was like, "What?"
yeah, I
None
can't.
of
So
my
it's very.
cider loving friends have told me that there's another cider place here in Houston.
Yeah, you would think the non gluten folks would be coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, I'm enjoying it. You know,
I am too.
we'll get
Actually,
into it later, but
honestly, I would tell you this. This is probably of all of what I see online. We're going to get into a little bit about the brewery in a or the brewery in a second. But of all the ones that I see online, this is by far the last one I would pick. And so in my mind, I'm going, if this one's getting a,
a good
obviously I'm not rating it, but
yeah.
if like
If
this
this
one's
one's
getting
good,
this one's getting a 6 out of 10 for normal scales, they
hmm
probably have one that's like an 8.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for
Um,
sure. They're definitely
so
gonna have
sit,
something that you're gonna like even more.
yeah. City Orchard was founded by the serendipitous meeting of three like-minded Houstonians. Okay, so rest assured, guys, they're all from here. Our objective is simple: create the best ciders from the best ingredients in a welcoming environment. Family owned farms along the shore of Lake Ontario. Okay. City Orchard taps deep into the roots of the Great Lakes apple country. We bring the heritage of our cider culture and orchard to our favorite city. Okay, so they're from here, but they bring in apples grown in a specific northern, obviously the Ontario, Lake Ontario, and the Great Lakes apples.
Mm.
Yep. They press them on the farm, truck the juice to Houston, and produce traditional ciders in our urban setting. We're an orchard in the city, a little unorthodox, but this is Texas. We manage the process from tree to glass, real apples, real cider. Yep, they got
I've been on a big apple kick lately, man. I know this is like just throwing it.
like straight up fresh.
Oh, just apples, dude. Just an apple a day keeps the doctor away style.
You forget about them. Honestly, if we didn't have kids, I'd forget about them a lot more. But every time I eat one, I am thoroughly impressed at how
I'm just
delicious it is.
it just they never miss. Unless you
No,
let them miss, you know what I mean? Like
uh,
if they're like going bad, like that's your fault. But there's never
what's
been a
your?
time where I've eaten an apple and been like, I just had a bad experience.
So my question is, what is your favorite apple? Let's go ahead and knock that out of the park. But I got a little bit of a surprise for you in a second.
The ones that are I don't know which what they're called, but they're like the ones that are like yellow and red. You know what
Yellow
I
and
mean?
red. A Fiji,
I couldn't tell you the name of them.
a Gala.
Listen, dude, you're
Are we
throwing names at
talking?
me that I've
Are we
never
talking?
heard before.
Are we talking? Is it fine like a real tree camo, or is it real patchy like a calico cat?
I think
I
like
guess
a
I could have stuck
calico.
with. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that. I mean, we've had those before, like a splotch of yellow, a splotch of red, a splotch. I mean, within
Yeah,
reason, they obviously
like
fade
kind of
to
like
fade together.
mixed in. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the Fiji. I think
Okay.
because the Gala is a little more like webbed, but
Oh yeah,
with
no.
red and yellow.
But there, it's my, and I don't know why I think it's because it's like a little, it's not as like crisp. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, like you mean like the texture or
Yeah.
the flavor. Mm.
Like the bite, like biting into it isn't as tough. You know what I mean?
That's why I love the Honey Crisp.
Which one's that one?
The Honey Crisp. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like golden.
Like the yellow one?
Yeah, there's a couple of different. Dude, I don't know if you know. There's a shitload of apples. A
Yeah, I think we've
lot
looked
of
this up
apples.
on the
We
podcast before,
have like
actually.
an alarming number of apples.
Yeah, there's a ridiculous amount.
Um,
But
but
we all know that there's like standardized ones though, right? Like you got the multicolor, the multi red and yellow. You
you
got the
fucking like you say, oh, they're standardized, but you still don't even know the names.
no, but you see them in the store, right? Like you got your
Oh
regular
yeah,
red, you got your Granny Smith,
yes. Well,
and
okay,
then you got
which
like the yellow.
the Golden Crisp is the shit. Okay, not Honey Crisp. Excuse me, Golden Crisp. Golden Crisp is the best, but they don't last as long. And texturally, based on what you're telling me, if I were a doctor and I was diagnosing you with the apple that you need to keep me away, it would be the Golden Crisp
And,
because it texturally it's not as crisp, but it's sweet
mm,
and it's subtle and it's a little soft, but it's still fulfilling enough with a snap.
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
Um,
the yellow ones are good too.
can we all agree that the Granny Smith is only worthy if it's dipped in peanut butter? I don't like, I'm not a huge Granny Smith guy.
Listen, I'll eat it, you know. I'm not
Yeah.
going to turn it
Caramel,
down.
you caramel color, like you got to soak it in something else. Caramel color that bitch or peanut butter, or maybe you're converting it to cider. I don't want to put, I don't know. I'm not a huge like straight up off the shelf. I also want my apples to be ice cold.
Oh, really? I like room temp.
Wow.
Room temp.
Okay.
I don't want to bite into it and freeze my tooth off.
Yeah, I guess since you have issues with I mean, not issues, but since you have like texturally, that makes the difference on an apple. It
Yeah.
being cold could be a game changer on something that maybe is a little less firm.
Mm. It's like I'll take my chances with it with like a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know, like you freezing a Reese's. Ain't nothing like
Um,
that. But
wait, so you do like frozen Reese's?
yeah, but the thing is because it's not as like juicy as an apple. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Say juicy again.
Juicy.
I don't know. You said it very juicy.
Yeah. It's not as juicy as an apple is. So
That's yeah, I agree, but I just want them cold because when they're
mm.
room temp, I feel like they get sticky. They're stickier on your lips and stuff like that all at once. By the way, here was the surprise. And I realize because I read a little further why it's the case, but City Orchard also makes beer.
Okay.
Okay. City Orchard's focus is cider, but what?
Oh, that was the surprise. They also make beer.
Yeah, that was the surprise. But
Oh,
then I'm
okay.
going to read a little further, and it's going to bring us down a rabbit hole that we have not enough time to dive down today. But City Orchard's focus is cider, but we also love beer. We wanted to make sure that everyone has something to enjoy at our tap room, and Texas law stipulates that we have to make beer to serve, so we do make beer.
Mm. They
So
have to
basically,
make a beer to serve cider.
that's what it says. Brewmaster Clay Watson's beer making philosophy is simple. Let's get back to basics. We hope you enjoy some of our classic style. They're only available in tap room because obviously I think that they're just using it as a
Mm.
yeah, not
As
putting
a
them on
means
blast or
to
nothing, but yeah,
hey, do what you got to do, man. You gotta if you got a love for ciders and you have to make a couple beers to slide it in there and get your product out on the market. I'm not judging you at all.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you even if your beer sucks. That ain't no problem. You're a cider place, you know what I mean?
Dude, they also have. I love that they have their entire staff on here, which is really cool. Or at least the majority of the staff on here. They got some taproom folks. They got obviously they have a food there because they have a chef and they have a sous chef that's there. They've got some production folks that are on there, the taproom team, obviously the brewmaster, the apple procurement, things like that. So go meet the team. It is cityorchardhtx.com.
Yeah. Don't use Google Chrome apparently. You won't be able to view it.
Nope. Second rate Bing comes in for the win. Bing one, Google all the rest. That's where
Yeah.
we're at right now. Score is looking rowdy, but you're saying there's a chance.
Just saying there's a chance. All right.
Speaking of chances,
Yeah, obviously not really connected here to this cider, but it is Super Bowl weekend whenever this episode releases. Um, so I just kind of wanted to, I don't remember if we ever talked about this last year or not, but I just kind of wanted to get like, what is your Super Bowl routine? Like, what do you do? Your traditions on Super Bowl? I know I don't know if you've watched really the Super Bowl recently or not. I know you haven't
I
really
have.
watched a lot of football in general, so
Yeah, aside from college football, we've kind of been on a little bit of a hiatus for one reason or another. We're not as interested as we were when we were in college. We're not as interested as we were when we were a little younger. Plus, the kids just care not. And we have friends that like kind of are like not a lot of our friends are into it either. But I would say also just not putting everything on blast, but like commercials have kind of just historically sucked at least the past decade.
they've gone downhill
Yeah.
for a few years, yeah.
So, for okay, historically in the past, we would do big get-togethers where, obviously, there in my mind, there's two different types. There's like the we're all going to be lazy and just get something out. There's nothing wrong with like a whole pan of Cane's chicken strips and just
No.
sauce to swim around in. Um, cheese dip is a must, right, with chips. And then we do a little bit of early, you start drinking around noon, and it was usually super light generic beers. So for me, when I think of um like what we would do if I were going to do it tomorrow, if I were going to do it this weekend, right? Or whenever, yeah, this weekend, based on when this airs. If I was going to do it this
Yeah.
weekend, then it would be I would probably make some type of hot wing. Okay. Either I would make hot wing, I would make badass cheese dip, and I would drink super light, generic, drinkable beer, just so that you're the whole time. No, you're not at risk for like stomach or things being heavy. Like I'm not gonna try a new beer on Super Bowl Sunday. Like
No.
no,
You're going Miller Lite. That's what you're
yeah,
doing. Miller Lite, or for you probably Bush, unfortunately.
yeah,
You know.
something, Natty's, Frio, whatever. Like you're gonna go something, and it doesn't have to be cheap. It could be whatever you're into. But like I'm not gonna sit and drink. I love Shiner to death, but I'm not gonna drink Shiners
No,
all Super Bowl Sunday.
I
And I'm
couldn't.
also not gonna try whatever this limited edition porter or whatever.
No.
Like I'm just not gonna. So cheese dip is a must. It has to be good quality. I'm a dip snack kind of guy. Snack trays, and then good hot wings if you're making them in house. Otherwise, chicken strips. It's really the only occasion where I will forgo hot wings to have chicken strips that are non-sauced or chicken nuggets
Mm,
that are non-sauced or whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yourself.
I mean I would totally attend that party, 100%. Um, I don't think I've ever really done a Super Bowl thing, right? My dad works super early in the mornings on Mondays, so the Super Bowl has always been a no go for him, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, and so we never really hosted or did anything here. I only went to like one Super Bowl party in high school, and it was like one that one of my buddies' parents put on.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. First of all, they had like a big blow up projector screen in their front yard, and like the whole neighborhood was over there just vibing, watching the game. It was super cool. Um, but dips galore. This is my thing,
Oh yeah.
right? You need queso for sure. You need cheese dip for sure. Some kind of like ranch dip also. A spinach dip. I need something like that. I need some kind of not necessarily like queso cheese dip, but like a chunky cheese. You know what I mean? Almost
Yeah.
like a
Like on crackers, like you spread
Yeah.
on crackers, like a
Yeah.
cheese ball kind of.
Like a cheese ball, yeah.
Yeah, I
You
feel you.
gotta have that. If I'm being honest with you, like, yeah, when I think football in general, I think wings, right? 100%. I always do.
But very
Um,
close second.
well, no, but here's the thing is like, I think for a Super Bowl party, for me, I don't think I need like an entree.
I agree.
I just want dips and snacks. Like
And
a good like veggie tray.
mhm.
Oh man, get out of here with that. Are you kidding me?
Fruit trays nix the
Oh yeah.
freaking honeydew melon because we've talked exhaustively about why we
You
don't
can
fucking
leave it
need
out. You
that.
can leave it out there, but no one's gonna eat it.
So
Give it
you're
to the
right. I
dogs,
think
baby. Give it to the dogs.
give it to the dogs. I think so. You're right. Here's what I when I say hot wings. You're right. I don't think I even honestly hot wings to me is synonymous with football. Every other game of the year except for the
Except,
Super Bowl. It's a
yeah,
good point.
it's really weird.
Um,
Even like pizza. Like I could also do pizza for football,
but
but
not on Super Bowl
but not
Sunday,
Super Bowl. I don't know
dude.
why.
I wonder. I have a theory now that you say that I want to get to, but you're right. It's all snack. Like even if I'm gonna eat, like mentioned Chick-fil-A, which I guess is a little crazy because you can't have that on that day anyway. But
Yeah.
let's say somebody did a little good prep work and we're eating the Lord's food on a Sunday during the Super Bowl, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're eating Canes or whatever. Even then, it's not like you're sitting down to eat a meal of them. It's like you're
No, you're
snagging
grabbing
one.
and going, and you're
Yeah,
dipping in
yeah, yeah.
something.
And maybe somebody else's dip. Just fuck
Yeah.
it. Just one little take on that.
Yeah, I'm not double
Um,
dipping, just the first bite, you know?
I was gonna say that I feel like cheese is almost as synonymous with football with Super Bowl Sunday as hot wings are.
Yeah, I think so.
uh, but I think so. I'm not gonna say it's marketing, but I almost feel like you get marketed very heavily throughout the year with pizza, right? Because all
Right.
the promos and with hot wings. But you don't like a Super Bowl. It's all salty snacks. It's
Chips.
grab and go. So
Chips.
chips, Chex Mix, Tostinos, Tostitos,
Tostitos.
Doritos, all this quick. So again, in a prior life in food manufacturing, our Christmas, I think I've mentioned this before. Our Christmas was the Super Bowl because all we did was manufacture salty snacks. And so like like when people are building up inventory for the holidays because everybody wants that blanket or everybody wants that shirt and it's out of stock, for us, it was the Super Bowl. Like Christmas, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of an influx. 4th of July, pretty good influx. But the Super Bowl for salty snacks is fucking ground zero, dude. The consumption of the United States and even outside of the country is crazy for Super Bowl Sunday. So I don't know if it's marketing or if it's just the fact that we just we're on the go, we're in the moment, we
I,
want grabbable snacks.
I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of both, right? Obviously, it's the marketing of it a little bit, but like also, I feel like every other Sunday, typically, right? Like, what's your typical football Sunday throughout the year is like you're at home and you're getting some wings, or like you go out and get some wings. But for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, I feel like everybody's like, oh, we got to get together for the Super Bowl. So it's like everybody's not going to want to get a bunch of wings. Maybe some people do,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But like, I feel like everyone's just like, oh, just bring a dip. Like, just bring something and
Yeah.
we'll just grab and go and hang out. And
We
that's how it should be to
so
me. That's just how I always
and
would do that.
even the big parties in college, it just made me think of it like that could be a memoir, not a memoir of Super Bowls. You know how they have any given Sunday? You could name yours
Yeah.
every other Sunday,
Yeah.
and it would be just focused on Super Bowl Sunday and how we consume. But anyway, so any party that we went to, like especially during college and like right out of college when we were still young, we occasionally people would bring cakes. There's not a lot of sweet. I don't like crave sweets at the Super Bowl. Do you?
No, maybe like a cookie.
Yeah, but that's the
But
extent of it. I'm not like, where's the fuck's the cobbler? Who
Or
brought
like
the
a
three
or
tiers?
like a man, if someone brought some like churros or something though,
Oh,
yo,
that would be
a Super
killer.
Bowl churro would smack.
Dude, the ones that are like, freaking impregnated with the sweetened condensed Eagle brand milk. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so
Yeah.
dude, that because that's grabbable, dude. It's grabbable. You're on the go. And here's the thing, you're not
Yeah.
even on the go. Everybody's just kind of sitting and watching.
Everybody's sitting around the table anyways.
Yeah.
Well, they're not sitting, they're standing usually, but
Yeah. I don't know why that is, but yeah, we always it was always like there was like a generic, fold out table that had like a shitty plastic tablecloth on it and everybody would drop
yeah,
their dip on it. Occasionally we had a cake. I don't know why, but it was not a themed Super Bowl cake. It was just like a
generic
we s-
vanilla cake from Kroger.
yeah, we stopped by Kroger on the way over and felt guilty because we can't make a dip,
You can't,
kind of
and
thing.
we couldn't just show up with a 30 rack of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are so what are things that you're not eating for the Super Bowl? Like, you think anybody's out there doing like a ribeye with a baked potato and a salad or anything? What do you think?
I think if you're preparing like too much of a meal, that's too much. You know,
Yeah,
I think even if you're watching the Super Bowl like by yourself, you should just order out. You know what I mean? Like just get you some wing. Like if you're eating by yourself, wings, yeah. But I'm
yeah,
talking about like a party environment. If you're like if you're gonna spend all the time to like barbecue, like if you did like a brisket for Super Bowl, dude,
that's too
that's
much.
too much, man. Like you're not even going to enjoy the Super Bowl.
Every other Sunday, that's fine.
Every other Sunday, it's okay. But
Yeah,
like
but not Super
I
Bowl.
just feel like it should be minimal work. Minimal
Dude,
work
dude,
and minimal cleanup.
what's the volume of people? You think the volume of people, and I'm sure this is something that Vegas has odds on, but you think the volume of people that tailgate is greater or smaller during the Super Bowl?
I would think smaller. There's no shot. First of all, you're talking location depending
Yeah,
also.
because it's in a random city, so like just
I
the
can
logistics of
almost guarantee you there's going to be hardly any tailgating in Vegas.
just because people are going to be people have to get there, people have to get
Well,
spots there,
people have
people.
to get their spots there, but like also there's just so many other better things and places you can be in Vegas to watch the game
Yeah,
than a tailgate.
I don't know, man.
And
With
you're
Vegas,
literally where that stadium is, you're like a mile from it from the Las Vegas Strip. So it's not like you're far from it anyways, you know what I mean?
um, yeah, it's a good point. I was just thinking like there's some things that make me think it would be drastically higher, and there's some things that would make it lower. Proximity to your hometown. Although I guess of all of the teams, like San Francisco's closer than most. I mean, I'm not
Right.
saying they're
I
super
mean,
right around
obviously,
the corner, but
like let's consider like if this was Super Bowl was in Kansas City, the tailgates would be crazy,
right, that'd be
right?
crazy.
Like, because first of all, Kansas City is a place that's gonna tailgate heavy regardless. And if it
And they
was
are
a
good.
Super Bowl and they were in it, that would be
Yeah,
insane. I would think same for Houston, same for probably like Green Bay or something. I don't know. I
yeah,
would, so a lot of those like Northeast play, probably the Bills. Bills probably would go crazy.
for sure.
Um, but I feel like there's also some places that I feel like even if the Raiders were in it, like Las Vegas just wouldn't tailgate that hard. I could be
Yeah,
wrong. They have a lot of really loyal fans, so they
the,
might,
the
but like,
the franchise has been too much bouncing around. Like it's been too much bouncing around in the past,
well, it's not even
decade or
just that.
so.
I'm just thinking like proximity to other things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
possibly. Yeah, and I guess they're like winning Rome kind of thing. They're like winning
Yeah,
Vegas. Like
like
I want to tailgate.
you're gonna fly out to Vegas to like tailgate for your team, or I could go to a casino and
Yeah,
watch it on like a massive screen with live music and stuff.
I do agree with that. But okay, so that was my next point. My next point was this: like, 'cause I saw somewhere that the average ticket is like 6 grand or 9 grand.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
So
There's so much factoring into that.
like, dude, you could no, that's the ticket. That's not getting there and
No,
everything.
I know. I'm just saying there's
Yeah.
so much factoring into that ticket price.
Yeah, so
Location, you know.
exactly. So I'm saying if you could get there for the same cost without the ticket and tailgate and live some of the experience, or to your point, oh no, I need this to justify tailgate. Like maybe that would increase the volume of tailgating because people are like, hey, we can get here and we can support, but we need to do it from like 700 yards from the door. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. I mean, I feel like a lot of people that tailgate in general, that's their ideology.
But back to your original argument, if they're gonna do that, then they're just gonna go watch it from some big ass screen where they can also bet on horse racing next door.
At least that's what I would
Mm,
do. You know what I mean?
True, true
I
point.
mean, I don't know. That's just my thought. That is a good question though. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Whether the tailgating would be bigger or not. I don't know. I just feel like also I don't want to watch a Super Bowl in a parking lot.
No, I wouldn't want to watch it either.
You
But
know?
here, you gotta remember this too. Like, I think we're blessed a little bit. When's the last time? I don't even know the stats on this. Do they usually historically put them in the South? Because like, when was the last time that a Super Bowl was in like an uninhabitable part of the country? Like
Mhm.
Buffalo's not getting the bid on one. Minnesota, Lambeau, none of those are getting bids on the Super Bowl, right?
I couldn't tell you. The last year was in Miami, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then before that was Houston.
Houston was one of them recently. I
So
don't
so
remember if it
either
was.
way, I'm just saying like let's say for instance occasionally the North was slipping in the Super Bowl, then like this would be something that would be more heavily tailgated because like you fucking can tailgate there. You know what I mean? Like there's some like
If it was in the
Seattle like
North, you could tailgate there.
no you couldn't is what I'm
Oh yes,
saying.
that's what Yeah, no, I
Yeah, so
agree.
it's like if they drop that bitch in Seattle or something or like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Buffalo, any of those places, hell, even like New England at this point would be almost non. No, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be non, but because they're in Jersey, right? It just wouldn't be as comfortable to tailgate. Like you're not gonna have like right now, people could transplant from Kansas City. They can transplant from San Francisco and be comfortable tailgating in Vegas right now. You transplanted somebody from Kansas, or yeah, Kansas City's a bad example, but let's say Miami made it. You transplant somebody from Miami to fucking Lambeau, they're definitely not tailgating.
No, they would
It's just not
rather
a
sit
thing.
inside a bar and watch the game
Exactly, exactly.
than
So I'm
go out and
saying
tailgate.
at least in Vegas, it is tailgatable
That's true. It is.
because of the weather.
It's still probably going to be a little chilly though at night, but
No doubt.
it's doable though. Yeah. And I mean, a tailgate out there would probably be a blast. I bet there's a lot of fans out there that will tailgate and it'll be fun. I just think me personally, I would much rather be inside somewhere.
Also, one more point that we've overlooked here. When I mean, at least in Houston and in Dallas, dude, when these dudes roll up to tailgate, dude, I mean, the
Oh,
shit they got with them, the
well, and
kitchens, the fucking
also it should be
man.
noted that the Vegas stadium has like a massive screen on the outside of the stadium.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, but so that's in the pro column. That's more of a
yeah.
compelling
No,
argument
yeah,
then.
I'm saying so that's a plus for tailgating there.
I guess, listen, the Super Bowl is big enough too, where people might be driving from Kansas City, people might be driving from San Francisco. I'm just saying, if I'm flying in, I'm not tailgating at all because I'm not gonna have my OG superstitious grill set up.
No, but you
I'm
could
not
go
gonna.
to a tailgate still.
Oh yeah, you could go to one, but the diehard fans that are showing up to that are paying to play at a Super Bowl or paying to, you know, hang out at a Super Bowl, they're not gonna half-ass a tailgate if given the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
just so many
no, for
factors here to,
sure.
to feed through.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good question. If
You know what I mean?
yeah, anybody listening wants to give us a comment on the post about that, that's a good topic to talk about.
I guess I never considered it until now, but there's just so many things that go into. I mean, because and I told you we were going to leave it alone. Like obviously this year's going to be overshadowed by the whole Taylor thing and everybody betting on all the BS that's associated with her. Whether you're for that or not for that, I think it'll be great for the NFL to have the increased viewership, of which I don't know how much it'll be. Let's say, whatever, we
I
can fight
mean,
one way or the other. Okay, but I
I
don't
don't
give a shit
yeah, I
about
mean,
that.
I don't understand everyone's problem with it in general.
No, but I'm saying like that doesn't even that doesn't even that doesn't intrigue me enough to discuss like what will be the impact on viewership because of her, what will be the all of the Vegas statistics on bets that people are going to place. Like that's all very intriguing and I'm glad that it's going to support the NFL. But what's more intriguing to me is how people are making the decision on if they're going to tailgate, when they're going to tailgate, and how they're going to pull it off.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm glad that we dove into that a little bit.
Yeah, me too. That was a good one.
Yeah. One other, where we at? Do we got another quick little one more other thing that I include?
Yeah, yeah, we got time. We got a little bit of
Okay, look,
time.
I'll make it very brief because I think this ties into. Okay, actually, I'm going to tie it back to the passion we just had about the discussion we just had. Okay, about all the little nuances, our brain like going 90 miles an hour. Like, oh, do we think that this would make the difference? And if somebody tailgated, or do we think that this would be too overwhelming for them to care about? One thing that I wanted to throw in there is like you people are every single person is passionate about something, okay? And like if you think that there's someone that you're the only person passionate about something, that's bullshit. There's a group of people, depending on what it is that you're passionate about, they're either really out in the open and they're passionate about it, or they're hidden, covered by the depths of night about it. Um, but long story short, I think what makes people passionate about something is that need to fulfill something that eats at them. And the like if you get frustrated at something and that frustration fuels you, that is the definition of passion. And if you think you're the only person that gets frustrated by one thing or another, then that's bullshit. Like somebody else does, and you need to talk with them because when you guys are frustrated together, that fuels more and more of the fire. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, yeah, it's like I've seen a meme recently where it's been like me having a very obscure problem with a video game and looking up how to beat it, and the answer is like some Indian dude from 12 years ago that had the exact same problem, and he's walking
Yes,
you through how to fix it.
bro.
It's like that.
And I get super passionate about a number of things. Like I just looked up these joggers that I got a one-off purchase of from Costco. And like, dude, I can't find these fuckers to save my life. And I've just been scouring the
Oh
globe. And then
no.
finally Reddit came to my rescue. And they were like, they only run between these months and the odd numbered years. Anyway, so again, there's people out there that are passionate about the same shit.
Yeah.
But the last thing that I wanted to say is I think it's one of the few things that is cathartic for our current society. I'm not getting philosophical here, but like obviously there's a massive struggle with mental health. There's a massive struggle with like the economy and like with the stress of inflation, and then we had this massive labor crisis during or the massive layoff during like the pandemic, and then obviously everybody came back into the workforce, and then wages were inflated, and then these massive layoffs resulted because obviously revenues weren't generating to support the folks, right? The whole disaster that we've been through. Um, but that constant need to fulfill, whether it's via a personal need, right? Like I worked on light switches today and it was fucking infuriating because we've got one that is like three light switches run the same fucking light for some godforsaken reason. And I was putting a sensor on it, and like the whole time I'm trying to cheat the system. Like I can make two work with a 3-pole switch, but I can't screw up the last one. Like, how do I trick this system into working? And anyways, going through that, even though I was frustrated and I didn't want to do it, and I just kept eating at me inside. Once I got done, it was like this massive lift that was like, and I was refreshed again because I had accomplished
Mm.
it, because I stuck it to the system, because it was done. And I think we don't stop and think about that enough, that like, there's all these cheesy ass quotes that get written on walls where like, sweat is pain leaving the body or whatever, like all
Yeah.
the bullshit like that. But it's rooted in truth. Like without strife or without some type of resistance, I'm about to get off my soapbox, I promise. Without something that frustrates you or scratches at you in certain annoyance, there is no fulfillment.
Yeah.
Um yeah, whether that's a funny thing, like a lot of times we talk about Conway Twitty's hair, right? Like whether it's a funny
Yeah.
thing or it's not a funny thing, like fulfilling that or finding other people to help you fulfill that is really what the fuck this whole thing's about.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, there's been multiple times where when you're working on something and you keep running into problems, kind of like you're saying with your light switches, right?
Yeah.
You just keep running into problems, but to me there's no better feeling than when you like put it aside for the night and you go lay in bed and you're just laying in bed and you go, "Oh my god, that's it.
Yeah.
I figured it out." And then for me, obviously, I have to wait till the next day to do it.
Mhm.
But like in that moment, I would be like, I can get up. I'm doing it now. I got to fix it now. And I would get up
So
and do it. And then my brain would just be like, yes, now you can sleep happy now,
I,
you
I
know?
don't want to I don't want to shine light on the fact that maybe I haven't found what my, calling is in life. But like, do you feel that the people that are super successful or the people that are motivational to other people are the people that have figured out how to make everything like that?
I don't think success maybe is built off of that, but I would think that people that are good at motivating other people, I think that's probably their passion. That's
They
what
have a
they're
way of shining light or calling attention to the one thing that piques another
yeah.
person's interest, whether that's the motivation or not. Like,
I don't. How are you describing successful here? Like monetarily successful?
no, 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 like just fulfilled, like just,
Oh yes, then
yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Those people I think have found their calling. Yes. If we were just talking about monetarily, no, I don't think there's a lot of people that are monetarily successful that hate their lives. Probably.
Okay. Yeah. So I wish that there was like a secret. Like if you could, hey, listen, we give all our good ideas away. But if we could find some way with fucking AI and with all these doctors and all the intelligence that we have to plug each person into the correct scenario where the
Oh,
frustration
society
and
would
the stress.
flourish.
I know, but I'm saying like, would there be, we're gonna have to put a pin in this because I really do want to discuss this. Society would flourish. I think mankind would get a lot more healthy. Because again, like for me, I want to be a trim carpenter. That's not what I do every day, but I want to be a trim carpenter. And I'm sure there's somewhere some guy is like, I want to do chemical sales or whatever, right? I mean,
I want to
maybe.
sell
Anyway,
chemicals.
anyway, it's very important what I do. Okay, but anyways, I'm just saying all those things like if we just swapped it and we made it work like where you were in the system that that
Oh,
pressures you that puts you, but
mental
would
health
there
of
be any
society would be
downfall?
incredible.
Would there be any downfall? Listen, we're gonna have to get into ratings here in WWYBDs, okay, but I want to pose a question that we have to answer next week, okay? In every scenario that I'm aware of, wherever there's a mention of utopia, there's always a fundamental flaw, kind of like the devil and the angel, okay? If you ever mention utopia, it's just this perfect, even nirvana, right? All of it. There's this one little bead of flaw that if not everything is going exactly as designed for utopia or exactly as defined for nirvana, then this little bead of sin or whatever you want to call it, this little bead slowly takes over and creates the complete opposite of utopia, which is probably what the fuck we're living in now. So
Yeah,
my
that's just
question is
the
this.
world as it is now.
So my question is this: if we could find a way to tap everyone, every personal individual into what makes that, what drives them, motivates them, excels them themselves, would there be any fundamental downfall? We know the upside,
Mm.
but what would be the fundamental downfall? Can we leave it at that, or do you have a comment?
No, I think we should leave it and come
Okay.
back. Do a little like two-parter topic episode.
I got you
That
because
sounds fun.
this weighs on me. I didn't want to get into that late. I just wanted to tell the story about how I felt fulfilled, even
Yeah.
though I was frustrated and it was fairly
Yeah.
simple and
I've
I
been
should have
there
known it
so
from
many times. Been there so many times. It's been great.
the
It's one of the best
yeah.
feelings on the planet.
What's that funny meme right now with freaking not Hannah Montana, but the actual person? What's her name?
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. Getting there is half the journey. Whatever that one is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
It it's really the journey that you love. That
It's
kind of
really
thing.
the journey. Yeah.
Enjoy the journey. Yeah, that's what I think of. It's so true. Anyways, WWYBDs, you're gonna go first.
Ooh, I'm going first this week.
Yep. Oh, you don't have to, but you can.
I gotta think. I think I gotta think about mine. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have one right off the
Oh
rip?
yeah, my oh hell yeah.
Okay.
So if I was like, and this is nothing against City Orchard, but if I was forced to go watch someone run a fucking half marathon, I would sit in Memorial Park and drink this bitch while they were running. That's exactly what I would do. Maybe even if we
That's
went and
pretty
saw
good.
like some parade that was going down, like going down around the zoo, not zoo lights or anything like that, but like that seasonal like April, maybe there's an Easter parade or something that's hitting those sidewalks right around the parking lot around the zoo. Yeah, I'm gonna drink this in a public
Mm.
place and watch somebody run, bike, pull a personal float with a bunch of small children on it. That's what I'm doing.
Personal float with a bunch of small children.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
doing.
All right.
Mm.
I'm kind of seeing myself not necessarily like the bayou in Houston, right? But like some kind of water source, like a river or whatnot. Not like the river walk, right? Like not like in San Antonio or anything, but like I'm seeing myself walking by a river. You know what I mean? But like in a city, not like in nature, but like in a city.
Hmm.
And that's just I don't know. I'm outside for sure,
No,
but
that's fine. I'm gonna say that you probably, even though hey, H Town strong, you probably don't want to be in and around
the
a
bayou.
bayou in the inner
No,
city now.
no, you don't.
But yeah.
You do not. But that's just what I don't know. I'm definitely outside. I wanted to say almost golfing again, but it's not a golf drink for me. For me, golf drinks is beer. It just has always been beer. It's always going to be beer.
You know what? Listen, I'm not saying this one exactly. I would probably get down on some. There's a couple of reasons why this one is not my golf cider, but honestly, I would. You're opening my eyes, City Orchard, just a wee bit because I would try some of the other ones if I were golfing. This one, definitely not. Again, I'm not going to
It's not
go
a
into
golf
fridge.
cider.
No,
Mm.
no. This is a watch somebody run a half marathon like a fucking lazy bastard in Memorial Park. That's what
But
this
you're
is.
outside and the sun is shining.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely soaking it up. You're getting all the good, but you're not having to suffer through the bad.
Yeah, you're not the one running. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we can get into
Uh,
the ratings here. I'll since you did WWD, I'll go
yep.
ratings. Entry, I have a 3, and only because aftertaste I have a 4, and I don't think the aftertaste is any higher, but I think the aftertaste is better than the entry. I think it leaves me that cider aftertaste that I really want. Um, Body, I have a 4. I've never had anything lavender before, but it gives me a little bit of lavender, gives me the honey that it promises, and it gives me the cider that it promises. So I'm here for it. It's just not my favorite thing, but it's good. Color, we didn't really look at color this week.
No, we didn't. I could tell from popping the can. I just run of the milled it. So, oh, it's super light. I just poured it. It's super light, not like a sel. I just licked my hand like a seltzer. It's not like it's like seltzer colored. So,
Okay.
I just gave it a 3, middle of the road.
Yeah, so I have it as a 4, but after that information, I'm gonna drop it to a 3
Mm.
as well. Bitterness, I have it a 5. It's pretty much spot on bitterness wise. Same for acidity for me. Uh, I have a 5 on that. It's pretty nice. You get all the cider that you want out of it, in my opinion. Fizz, I do have a 3. It didn't give me a lot of burps, but to be completely honest, I did eat very close to before we did this podcast. So that could be factoring into that because it was very bubbly.
Yeah, no, it's very
Uh,
bubbly.
not like seltzer bubbly, but obviously, but it's good. So my total is a 27, and it's not a fridge sitter for me by any means. I would drink it. I don't know if I would necessarily buy it again, um, but that's just because maybe I prefer other ciders, you know. But it's good. I
So,
recommend it if you're into ciders and you're especially if you're into lavender, you're probably gonna love it.
Yeah, I would definitely and and not just because it's like the only lavender thing. There's a lot of lavender options out there. I would definitely recommend it to someone that likes lavender in a cocktail or likes lavender in a coffee or a beverage or some type of food or whatever. Because it's good. Um, First off, it's not a fridge sitter. It comes in 4 packs, so none of this is fridge sitting.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think I would purchase this one again, but I will definitely purchase another City Orchard for
Yes.
sure.
100%.
Based on this one. And I will tell people that like lavender to go after it. Um, so for ratings, entry I have a 3, aftertaste a 3. For me, again, we're gonna be a little bit drastically different just because of our thoughts on ciders and then obviously the honey and the lavender. Based on perception. Excuse me. So a 3 at entry, a 3 at aftertaste. Body, I have a 3 too. Dude, threes aren't bad. Threes are getting the job done,
It's
right?
right where you, right middle of the road, right there.
Right, middle of the road. I have a 3. This is the first time in a while I was counting it up and I was like 3, 6, 9.
Damn you, fine.
Exactly. Okay. Bitterness though, I do have it at 2. So contrary to you, I thought it hits a little too hard with the bitterness. Like
Hmm.
there are multiple times where I have to kind of like when you get that like saliva generation mustard feel in the back of your jaw.
Okay.
I got that a couple of times, and then on acidity, still pretty extreme, but I had it I had it at a 3. If it would have lasted a little bit longer, we talked about this last week or the week before. Had the flavor lasted a little bit longer, as extreme, it would have been less than a 3, but I've got it at a 3. Fizz, I have it a 4. Damn near could be a 5. Like I can feel that I've got a little bit of a fucking hurricane brewing in the chest, but that I get with seltzers and sometimes get with other ciders. But that's no fault of the cider. That's just the way that I'm programmed. You can't hate the
Yeah.
bev for that. It is super bubbly. It has the spice to it from the apple. It has the bitterness from the apple, and that kind of can create a storm in here, especially because I did, again, post dinner, I got a little bit of grease in there. I got a little bit of other things in there. So it might come back to haunt me, but my total score is a 21, which, you know, all in all things said, I'm here for it, City Orchard. I will like this was not to the point where I was like, fuck that. Like I've been in like we all remember again a 0, okay? Like
Yeah.
I've been in some bad spots. This is by no means that. I
No.
will try some of the other ones. It's just lavender honey's not my thing. And considering it's a lavender honey cider, 21's fucking
And
solid.
you still enjoyed it.
And I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like so I mean a little bit more like my reasoning for the bitterness is like I'm getting like the apple skin on the aftertaste,
Hmm.
which is really tying into the bitterness for me. And then acidity wise, again, I mean it's a cider, obviously you're gonna get a lot of apple, but I'm just getting a lot of apple, so it's really fruity for me. So that's just where we differ, I guess mostly. But I thought it was really good, man. I'm pretty surprised.
Honestly, way back, I thought I was gonna be. I have a tendency to be negative if I go in with like oh this is gonna be fucking terrible, but
And you were
it was
not
pretty good.
excited at all.
No. I'm not gonna lie. I was disappointed. Like in fact, earlier today when we were like game planning a little bit of like what we were gonna be doing, and you called that out, I was like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna call it in, mail it in or anything, but there's a chance I'm
I'm
sick this afternoon.
I'm kind of not making this one.
I'm joking.
All right. Well, we have gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on social media on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Whether it's lavender, whether it's honey, whether it's seltzer, whether it's cider, whether it's switches, whether it's anything that takes you to the limit, give it a shot. You might be surprised.